Hello and welcome back to our Profits Unlimited podcast channel, recording live right here in our Turf Stop Radio studio in Louisville, Kentucky. This is one of my favorite things to talk about, and that's why it's so important to utilize a service agreement within your company. For a number of years, I didn't see the importance of utilizing a service agreement. It was all about, we trust each other. It was all about the handshake. It was all about this. It was all about that. And we didn't need that. My customers trust me. My customers aren't going to fire me. I had all these reasons why I was not utilizing a service agreement, but they were all the wrong reason. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Also, what I'm going to talk a little bit about is why a service agreement is not a hook. A lot of times we think, I don't need that. I trust my customer trusts me. Service agreements aren't hooks. It took me a long time to understand that. And I hear that a lot of time from guys when I'm out talking, doing a seminar somewhere, we're talking about service contracts, and they're like, well, I don't need that hook to keep my customer. If they want to leave, they can leave. You can utilize a service agreement and your customer could still leave anytime they want, if that's how you want to set your service contract up. But what we're going to talk about is the advantages that you get, the advantages your customers get by implementing and utilizing a service agreement. And that's what makes it good, is it's a win-win for everybody involved. Let's look at some of the advantages. Just from the customer's perspective. They know exactly what the cost is going to be. They know exactly what the frequency is going to be. It's easy for them to budget. You ever had a customer call up after you've sent your invoicing out when you're doing a per cut invoicing, and they're like, you sure that you were here 5 weeks? You've got me, let's just say you're charging somebody $40 a cut and you send them a bill for $200. And the first thing they think of, well, how's it $200? It's only 4 weeks in a month. You ever had that phone call? If you've been doing this any length of time at all, you've had that phone call, guaranteed. Oh yeah, that's right. Well, look, Miss Smith, there was 5 Tuesdays last month, or 5 Wednesdays, or 5 Thursdays, or whatever it is. Every month has got a few days that in the month that are going to have, if somebody's on a weekly service cycle, where it's going to be more than 4 services in a given month. So those are the advantages your customers get. One of the advantages you get out of utilizing a service agreement is it eliminates your scheduling problem. When you go from spring to summer to fall, if you've got a customer set up for a weekly service, then that's easy, right? You're there on a weekly basis. But if a customer doesn't have irrigation, for an example, and they're not going to water, and they don't have the best turf in town, right? Then that as things warm up, that service cycle is going to spread out maybe to a 10-day cycle in the summer, right? But if it's written in your contract that way, your routing is done that way. But without a written agreement on what the frequency is going to be, and you're thinking it's a weekly service cycle, and now you run out there in July, right, to mow, and it's hot, and it's dry, it's slowed down a little bit, and the first thing they're doing is running out on the porch and saying, whoa, wait a minute, Mike. What are you doing here today? Grass doesn't need to be mowed. Our biggest expense, your expense, my expense, our biggest expense as an industry is getting a truck and trailer and lawnmowers and weed eaters and an employee, whether it's you or multiple, to the job site. And when they run you off at that point, say, come back next week or come back in a few days, the cost has already been absorbed by your company to get there the first time. Now you've got that cost again the second time. Implement a service agreement that says, hey, we're going to be here every week, or we're going to be here every week up until July and August, September. It's going to an every 10-day cycle, and then we'll go back to a weekly cycle. Use a service template, contract template that has that defined already. So you're not wasting money going to somebody's house and they're out there waving, no, 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 don't mow today, come back in a couple days. The most expensive thing we do is come back in a couple days. Because now we've driven out there, we leave, we got to come back. It's off route of everything else in the area. And guess what we've done? We've lost money. You're not going to recover that money. You're never going to recover that money. Another thing that a service agreement does for you is it creates a positive cash flow. And what I mean by that is you're not spring rich, summer poor, fall rich, winter poor. There's different ways you can set that service agreement up based on your individual market. Maybe you'll set it up, like here in Louisville, Kentucky, we set our residential service contracts up generally on a 9-month billing cycle, March through November. Okay, then we bill our leaves in December. Our prepays go out in January off of our contracts. So we've almost generated a 12-month cash flow cycle, even for all of our residential customers. So that's something, we can help you with. That's something, if you're interested in that, certainly give us a call. We'll be happy to talk to you about that and how you can set that up to where you regulate your cash flow almost over a 12-month cycle. So you don't have all those peaks and valleys of spring, man, we're all mowing great, the grass is growing crazy, we're doing our mulching, summer gets here, things slow down, we're skipping mows, our billing's not the same. It's hard to manage your company that way. Implement something easier, and it's there. It's a service agreement. It sets up a consistent cash flow for your company. It lets your customers know exactly when you're going to be there. It gives you positive cash flow, eliminates your fear of a drought. Customers feel committed because they are on a service agreement. You can have a 30-day cancellation if you want. 99% of our residential customers are set up that way. So somebody says, man, I'd love to use your service, but I don't want to be tied up all summer long. You don't have to be tied up all summer long if you don't want to do that. Have a 30 or 60-day cancellation in there. If you want to have a 9 or 12-month cancellation, maybe the term of the contract is 12 months, and after the initial term of that contract, it may go to a 60 or 90-day cancellation. You can set it up however you want it. We've got the templates for that for you. You don't have to think all this out. We've got the templates available right on our website for that. Okay? It's called Service Agreements and More. Simple download, Microsoft Word format. There they are. The templates are there. You can use it as a framework to design your own. Set your cancellation up however you want. The number of months that your billing is set that up the way you want. But also we found it does a couple other things for us. When a customer knows exactly what that bill is going to be before they open it up, it's easy for them to budget. You can set up an auto pay system to where you've got their credit cards on file, and just on a given day of the month, the 20th, the 30th, whenever you do your invoicing, it auto pays. There's no question, hey, it's going to be $100 a month or $150 a month. It's the same each of those months for that billing cycle. So that's another advantage you get. You don't have those phone calls coming in. Also, your signed contracts are an asset to your company. It's collateral. If you need to go buy a new truck, buy a new lawnmower, whatever it is, and you're trying to borrow money to do it, you go to the bank as a lawn guy, a lot of times you have a hard time borrowing money. But the reality of it is, when you go to try to get some money and you tell them that, hey, I've got 75 service contracts here that have guaranteed my cash flow over the next 12 months, banks understand that. All they're looking at is your ability to pay, right? So it gives you collateral to utilize within your company. It's something that makes your company more valuable someday when you decide you want to sell. Those are some of the key points of utilizing a service agreement. Could talk literally a couple hours on contracts, but I just wanted to touch base with something short, because I know, a lot of times you're thinking about switching and utilizing a service agreement or contracts, and you got that fear factor going. But just remember, the advantages for your customer is they know exactly what they're going to be paying. They know the frequency of the service. They know when the services are going to be completed, not just on a frequency basis, but hey, it's weekly this time of the year, it's an every 10-day cycle this time of the year. So routing is easier for you. Your collections are easier. People pay because they know what the bill is going to be before they open it up. I hope you were able to pick up a few ideas, but if you're not utilizing service agreements, seriously consider it for your company, because I saw what it's done for my company and how it regulated our cash flow, how it gave us the ability to go out and better set up budgets based on income we know we've got coming in, and it'll help your company the same way. And remember, profit is not a dirty word. Thanks, and we'll talk to you next time.